Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson777a here. Lift out of 7. Dobson777a here. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's late on Christmas Day, and I just thought I ought to get out here and say hello to everyone. Um, it's very interesting that Trump is essentially throwing back the bill that was going to give everybody $600. Hey, Bilbo. But in fact, I think what he's doing is the right thing because all of these payments that we're going to make to all these other countries, we already know that this is basically fed back into people's pockets, our elected officials' pockets. And so he's been trying to fight this all along, and I think he did the right thing. It's like pay the American people. Anyways, I didn't realize I didn't even shave today. It's a holiday. What are you supposed to do? Um, Interesting holiday. I canned 24 quarts of beef stew, and I think I'm sorry, yeah, 24 quarts, so two cases. Hey, Mr. Action. So, anyways, it's been a good day. Baked some cookies the other day. So I did some chocolate chip cookies. I hadn't done that before, so I was using a gluten-free recipe to see how it worked out. And I used too many chocolate chips, and so the cookies didn't hold together very well. But they're actually still really good. Um, I still want to make some Christmas cookies, so I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. Trying out this gluten-free flour, and I also am using coconut oil, and everything kind of behaves just slightly different. I don't know if any of you do any baking, but baking has to be very precise versus other things. So you have to keep massaging your recipes till you get it right. But that's what's been going on. It's been a quite a fun time. I also have about 3 cases of turkey stew. I've still been buying turkeys when they're 69 cents a pound, and probably Sunday I'll be doing more turkey stew. Because, man, I'll tell you, you can do a bunch of stew with one of those. It's about 18, 19-pound turkeys is what I've been buying. So I bought 2 more of those recently and just canning the crap out of everything. Did some more bread and butter pickles. I don't know about you guys, but when there's turmoil, like we've had in the election, it makes me double down on my preps. So I am hoping, since the last time I talked to you, that for instance, you guys have stocked up on your pantries, stocked up on your paper goods, stocked up on whatever dry goods like rice and beans and stuff. Don't let this stuff go down. In fact, I got my chickens back. I talked about that a few days ago, and I'm averaging about 6 eggs a day. Surprisingly, it's a lot of eggs. They've really got back in the routine very quickly. You could tell they love being back home. I think they've got a better setting here, and they've been doing very well. It's like 24 degrees here right now. I got both of my wood stoves cranking out. I had to run them all night long, both wood stoves, to keep the house at a reasonable temperature, and it's working really well instead of using the heat strips. When it gets this cold, you're running on heat strips, and man, that power meter will be spinning very fast. So I crank up my wood stoves, and I just have the fan circulating in the house, and the house is actually very comfortable. But man, I'll tell you, you've got to get up in the middle of the night sometimes and reload stuff up to keep it going. It's different when you're kind of being your own power company. In this case, I'm providing my own heat. Unless it's like 50 degrees and I just run on the heat pump. But when it's cold, I've got my wood stove cranking. Yeah, if I was using candles, I wouldn't be able to do this show. In fact, I just noticed you can't see my little thing in the background. I got to move it to the other shelf. I love this thing. Let's put it over here. There, can you see it on that side? Got the chair in the way. Let's turn back around. Yeah, there it is. My sparkly thing was hidden behind the tree. Now you can see it right there. I don't know, when I put my cursor up there, can you see the cursor? I don't know if you can see it or not. Everything's a little different when you're doing these live streams. I don't get to present. I got to get a little more sophisticated. That's one of my goals this next year, is to be able to throw up some charts and stuff like you see some of the other folks. So Nico Rock 28 is here. Dark Horse is here. I did put together some videos on candles, how to, even make Crisco candles if you want to try that. I had seen a lot of people doing videos on that. So, well, how hard can that be? And I had a lot of mason jars. So I wanted to try to design something that would work with mason jars. And I got candles that would last like a week. It was pretty impressive. So I need to do some more. Anyways, you guys see my hat? I don't know if you can read it. It says, I believe in Santa Claus. Santa Claus was good to me this year. Got too much chocolate in my stocking, though. It's going to make me round as Santa Claus. So anyways, I've been watching lots of videos about the election, we'll say, stuff going on with these automated systems that were tabulating results, and some of the stuff was reporting results to China. It's very interesting. So I don't know yet what's going on yet, of how, if they're going to be able to make a dent in this and overcome the obviously paid off folks or not. I don't know yet. It's kind of interesting. It looks like they've made a darn good case of how screwed up this is in multiple states, and they're apparently doing a signature audit now in Georgia for the mail-in ballots. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a pretty hokey process. I've looked at a lot of studies where even reporters had brought in, like 10 mailed in things, and every one of them were forgeries, and they went right through the process. So they showed that the signature thing is like worthless. Yeah, the Dominion voting software, bad news. You could tell this thing was done intentionally. There's no accidental stuff going on here. This is all intentional. But anyways, I got all dressed up for you guys. I got the t-shirt on because I always kind of heat up the house before we go to bed. So I got the house like 78 degrees. I feel like I'm in Florida right now because a lot of times the wood stove will kind of go out maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. That temperature starts dropping. So I got to get out like at 4 and restoke everything and get it going again. Sometimes I can get it go a little bit longer, but when it's like 20, I think it's going to be 21 tonight. That's a lot of cold pressing in on the house. And so you got to keep the stoves working like full capacity for it to work properly. I haven't heard anybody arrested. All I know is there was a bunch of pardons. I don't know if you saw all the pardons, and I couldn't name everybody except for like Roger Stone was pardoned. Some of the Blackwater folks were pardoned. You might remember who else, but there was a big number of pardons that went through. It's hard to be a betting man on what's going to happen with this election still. I mean, you just don't know if you're going to get the Supreme Court or these states to stand up. It looks like we got a bunch of really weak leaders right now, but we'll see. May have to get a whole bunch of people. I heard that there's going to be like a big march in Washington, so be curious how that goes. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but gold has been cranking up, and so did silver. We have to wait till Sunday to see if it keeps going. We get the latest numbers on gold and silver here. Got to get through advertising. Let me out of here. There it is. All right, so gold was at 1878.70. And then silver is at 25.78, so just shy of $26. And platinum is still doing very well. I think it was at 1,020. Let's see, what does it say? 1,017. Um, we're not breaking out yet all the way yet for platinum. It's kind of range bound again between like 1,000 and 1,040 roughly. Yeah, 1878. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You're right. There was, oh boy, I should have taken notes. There was something I was watching. I'm going to put a link to this one website I found that's really well done now. But they were talking about some insurrection act that was done. I think it was with Andrew Jackson. And there's some question as whether that's going to be implemented or not. And it has to do with one of the previous presidents was trying to do something. Raymond Burr. No, it's not Raymond Burr. That was an actor. I can't remember what that president was, but they had to kind of squash that with this Insurrection Act. And that's a possibility that could be thrown out there. We'll see. I don't think we're going to go locking down the country. Hard to say. What's happening with you guys as far as lockdowns and everything? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, Dark Horse, that there's going to be a change in our coinage. But I don't think they've actually recalled the copper and nickel. I think I think people just are not spending money because they're locked down. So the coinage isn't moving. This has to do with the velocity of money, and you're seeing it in the coinage. And I will tell you this, I don't carry coinage. Very few things do I even use cash. And when I get coins, I've got a tray here. I put it in, and it's for my grandchildren when they show up. It's a little bowl, so there's usually, $20 worth of coins or something. And then when they come over, and I just never carry coins. It's a pain in the butt. Coins are almost worthless. I mean, almost everything's $1 now. Most of the time, they could keep the coins, and I wouldn't even care. Think about the number is in the high 80s now. High 80% is electronic transactions now. Physical money is been going by the wayside for decades now. People don't carry money. I try to keep $100 in my pocket just in case, because I've been caught off guard before. You go to a restaurant like a hamburger joint and it's cash only. That happened to me in Florida one time. We were sitting there, we ordered our drinks, and all of a sudden I kind of saw a sign that said, crap, cash only? So I dug in my wallet and I had just enough to pay for the drinks. And I said, we're out of here, cancel my order because I don't have any money. And we were in the middle of a different part of town that really didn't have any ATMs. And I said, I guess we're just not going to eat here because at the time, unusual that I didn't have $100 in my pocket, but because of that, I usually try to keep some in my pocket. No, our coins really don't have a valuation as money because at least what they were in the past, the coins are still in many cases just, I mean, except for even our pennies used to be copper. They're not really worth much more than the penny that they have there. In fact, they're worth much less. So there really isn't any valuation of money. I did a video and I just reposted it again out there, and it goes through the valuations of these current coinage that we have. It's all basically worthless. Merry Christmas, Edgewater Heating. Mr. Action, Merry Christmas. So are you guys, are you prepping? Are you taking this time? Are you traveling with family? Or, I mean, I've been kind of reorganizing a lot of my um, canned stuff, the stuff that I canned myself in ball jars. Some of the pickles that I made were kind of getting out of date. Um, no, a quarter is not a quarter. A quarter is not even worth a quarter. Go through my video; it'll tell you that a quarter is worth maybe uh, a nickel or less. It doesn't. You have to go back to actually when we had silver in our coinage to actually see where it was actual money and the gold. Yeah, I tell you what, it's I don't think it's supposed to get to 21 tonight. It's not 21 right now, but it's cold out there. Oh, buckets of freeze dried food. Yeah, that's the way to go. I've got freeze dried foods also, but I also did a bunch of rice using my dry nitrogen. Yeah, 1982 when it was pure copper. I remember when they changed the pennies. I was working in a fair analysis lab, and I took some of them and I ground into them to see what was in there, and they're basically steel now with just a copper clad. Yeah, we ended up with a dusting last night. It started about 1 o'clock. I got up because I knew that was when it was going to be, and just to look at it and go, oh, that's nice. Went back to bed, but I woke up. There wasn't anything really on the ground, just a dusting on some of the metal roofs and stuff. I thought there was potentially going to be more, but nothing really happened. They can keep the nickel and copper. I'll keep my silver and gold. Yeah, they're clad. They're not worth anything. They're basically steel. There's really no value to them at all. Like I said, I just did a video. It's in the I've got it highlighted. If you go into my directories under the precious metal, or I think it's called the tangible assets directory. Um, the lead video goes in and talks about our current coinage as well as the dollars that we use. Yeah, when you walk into our gym, you have to wear a mask, but you don't have to wear a mask when you're exercising. You just have to walk in while you're getting ready. When you're up on your machines, they've got them separated enough to um, where you don't need to wear a mask. So Edgewater, I have always recommended to everyone that 70% gold, 10% platinum, 20% silver. Hey, Crispy King. And I think it's just because I've shown multiple times gold gives you a double bounce and you'll have a chance to unload where silver just collapses once it peaks. And it shows that over and over again. So silver is a very, very, very difficult thing to trade. I'm not saying don't hold silver. I'm just saying don't hold a lot of it. And besides that, we've talked about the portability. I mean, you can take 20 gold coins, put in your pocket, and that'd be almost $40,000. So that's pretty cool to have $40,000 of silver. Geez, that'd be 120 pounds or something. I have to think about it. Well, close to 120 pounds. That's a big difference. Dark Horse is playing with the electronic funny money, and he thinks he's buying a tangible asset. Okay, well, good luck with that. Like I said, I'd rather have my real estate that's paying me, and then have some of the gold and silver to protect. Take 20%. I still will argue, buy tangible miners because they're going to go up significantly more. It's leveraged to the precious metals. Platinum is fantastic. I'm telling you, we're gonna kill it with the platinum. Remember, if you hold 30 ounces of gold, which is a significant amount, by the way, okay, it's a significant amount. Um, you're going to be in the 1% of people that hold gold. If you hold 20 or 30 ounces of platinum, you're going to be in like the 0.002% of people holding platinum because there's a hell of a lot less platinum available. So I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know some people have talked on here that said they were holding 30 ounces of platinum, and that's a amazing amount of platinum to hold. Platinum miners, the one that I watch is SBSW, but it's not a pure platinum miner. It's platinum, rhodium, palladium, so PGMs they call it, and then you have also gold. So it's fairly diversified now. In fact, I remember, don't quote me on this, but I thought they were getting into copper also, copper mining. So that's a pretty good diversified. They looked at it and they said they didn't want to be just in one thing because these things don't all go up at the same time. Just like we can see that, platinum and palladium kind of swap as they've shown over history. And so it doesn't go up the same time as gold and silver. So it's nice to have this variety of metals so that it kind of balances out. Just like I told you, you don't want this volatility where it's banging the rails. You want it to just kind of do like this and go up. So that's the way I invest. Yeah, we actually have quite a few micro miners in our holdings. But hey, Patriot Man, Nico Rock, we have quite a few micros. A little bit of money in the micros is okay. Don't go overboard. You're likely not going to get rich on the micros, but I try to put a larger percentage into the royalty companies, and then we go into the large, medium, and micro miners in that order, kind of building the pyramid, but physicals first. I tell everybody get a good amount of physicals first. Hey, DW, good to see you here. I decided I figured everybody kind of maybe had gotten through their, Christmas stuff, and this was a good time to get out here and talk to everyone, see what's going on. Justin's calling or in all the way from Ireland. That's fantastic. Yeah, SBSW. Holy Mac, SBSW. It was, man, I forget what it was last year. It was a different ticker symbol, and then it merged. And then, because we got in on this early, and then it merged, and it kind of went down, kind of sagged. And there was also, wasn't this another one of those where there was like some rumor, and so some people were able to pick it up pretty cheap, and it got hit pretty hard the beginning of this year. Oh, I know what it was. They had bought one of those. No, I'm getting mixed up with Kirkland Lake. But anyways, this doggone SBSW, last I looked, it's up like 69% or something this year. Amazing. 2 gallons of turkey soup. Edgewater Heating, you are my hero. I did, let's see, what is it? 2 dozen quarts. So 4 of them, so 24, 6. So, well, that's like 6 gallons, right? If I do my math right this late. So I went crazy today, but I had a big chuck roast, I guess you'd call it. It was like 13 and a half pounds. And so I decided to just make a bunch of beef stew. I've been doing turkey for several weeks now, doing turkey stew every twice a week. And I have 2 more 69 cents a pound turkeys I bought the other day. So I'll probably be starting early next week doing some more. Yeah, BNNHF, ELYGF, those have been on a tear this year also. We picked those up in February. I'm sorry, ELYGF we picked up in February. BNNHF we picked up last year, uh, August maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but some other folks have picked up the dips on that one and done very well. Yeah, EMX. I can't remember if I'm holding that one or not. Oh, barbecue pulled pork. I love pulled pork. I used to do those pork butts, and I'd smoke them for a couple hours, and I'd finish them in the oven, and then I'd tear them apart. But I'm gonna tell you, I do pulled rabbit, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between pulled pork or pulled chicken when you put the barbecue sauce and everything on it. It comes out fantastic. I love it. Let's see. Yeah, my stews. Let me tell you what I do with my stews because they, for some reason, I don't know where they're getting the green beans from, but they actually had a whole slew of green beans really inexpensive at Kroger. So I bought like three of these. I mean, it's a big old bag like this. And they had them bulk, but they'd already put some in clear bags that you can pick up. So I've gotten like three of those bags, and I've been putting that in my stews, along with they've had some ear corn that I cut off and throw in my stews, and mushrooms, onions. Um, it's it turns out, and I use Lipton onion soup as part of the seasoning, and sometimes some bouillon cubes or whatever. But I've got these 8-quart pots. I had two of them going today, and I had two 4-quart pots that I had going. So that's 32 quarts of stew that I did today. So the Nashville bombing is kind of interesting. It looks like it was targeted for some AT&T infrastructure. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but AT&T got hit. AT&T got hit pretty hard. So Fred Rosniak, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to follow like what I see on the Alaska shows. I will, whenever I see like discount protein, I will can the heck out of everything, and I will try to eat on that all year until like my fresh vegetables and everything come in. So like today, I did a whole bunch of stew, but I ate on it too. So I keep a couple of them out, and I'll eat on that for a few days, but the rest of them go down in my storage area. And this is kind of, I kind of look, I've had some videos that I did about a year and a half, 2 years ago. You're going to have to go look them up, but I predicted a lot of what's happening, and I said, they're going to be slowly turning the screws. So I'm trying to answer Fred Wozniak's thing. How many people am I feeding? So right now, I don't have a lot of people here that I'm feeding. But what if all of a sudden your kids all of a sudden don't have jobs, and they've got wives and children and everything else? And if you're the one preparing, you may have to take care of them. So the question is, how many are you preparing to feed? Maybe not how many you're feeding now. That's the real question. So I'm thinking that kind of the strategy and everything that I'm seeing, if you're going through a currency reset, things are going to get really tough. Inflation, everything else, people are going to struggle because the pay just doesn't go up fast enough. So those of us that have made it far enough along, and we've prepared with, just like I've been begging everyone to get precious metals and miners, um, you'll be able to potentially stay away ahead of the inflation and potentially come out, way ahead, and be able to swap over. When you have overvalued gold and silver, you can then go buy undervalued blue chip dividend stocks, world dominator stocks, all that kind of stuff. But right now, I'm planning for probably a 30% drop in purchasing power abruptly in our money currency, and then you may see several others over time happen, but you might see a step function change. Now, as far as MDS 8168, all the precious metals that I bought, 99% has been like eagles, platinum, silver, gold. And it's because I live in the US, and so I buy US Mint because that's the sovereign type coins that's most highly recognizable, and I want it to be the most liquid. Um, I think that you're going to be much happier. I mean, you might think you're saving a little money buying some rounds and everything, but I've done some analysis that the majority of the time you have a higher buyback price, which puts you ahead. You have to look at both your purchase price and your sell price, and you'll find that you'll come out ahead with the Eagles because they're the most recognizable. There's also some advantages when you're dealing with US dealers that there's no paperwork when you're dealing with Eagles. So that means there's no reporting requirements to the IRS. Now, I'm not telling you that that means it's a tax-free transaction when you sell. You're supposed to keep track of this and honor system at that, but because it's considered like U.S. money, they're not required to report it. It's different when you move into bars and some of these other things. Now there's a dollar threshold or a quantity of ounces. I think it's more of a quantity of ounces of these things that of the other types of bars and rounds and stuff. You have to have so many ounces before it becomes reportable on those as well. But if you sell to individuals, there's no reporting of, on your rounds and bars and stuff. So the platinum to me is still the most undervalued of the metals right now. But I would watch those premiums because the premiums get jacked up really quick. And I haven't looked at the premiums in a long time. So that would be a good video to throw in here shortly and see where we're at on the premium stage. The Iraqi dinar is a scam. You'll see more information about that scam. That's been going on for like 10 plus years. I had a lot of friends that went and bought those things, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Don't play with the Iraqi dinar. Well, we actually, DW, we have an actual tremendously high voting rate, and it's not just registered voters, it's all the dead voters too. Don't forget, we have an amazing, of course, we have The Walking Dead is in Georgia, don't forget. So we have a lot of zombies. They really do a good job of voting. So we're pretty much covered for that. We'll have probably a 20-30% excess voters in Georgia. And they'll probably be shipping votes from Pennsylvania and everybody else that will really kick those numbers up. So we'll see how it works out. Just being funny here. They're apparently doing a signature audit now, and that usually doesn't go very well. How many of you guys are used to using a particular type of pen and you do your signature all the time? I know at work, I always use these G2 pens. I don't know if I have one laying on my desk or not. I got one in here. You ever seen these G2? And I do the 07 fine 0.7 millimeter. Well, anyways, every once in a while, like we go to, like if you're buying a house, you got to put your signature 100 times on the thing, and they always give you like a blue pen, and it's not a G2. And half the time I'm like, man, this doesn't even look like my signature. So I'm kind of curious how they're going to do this audit. Yeah, so I voted. I forgot to tell you guys. I went and did the early voting last week, and so I voted. 7/10 of my vote went for Trump, and 3/10 went for Biden. It's kind of an interesting thing. You can't vote just for your guy anymore. You have to give some to the other guys. This is socialism. You can't. It's not fair to just give all your votes to Trump. So they're you know, they're kind of stealing from us to give to the other guy. It's only fair, right? I was watching one of the ads of the guy. He was talking about, they want fair pricing on rents and stuff, but they're not talking about that. Okay, if everybody has, some kind of fair pricing, that means they're all going to be living in these mini homes. You're not going to be able to get what you want. I don't know what the cross and mint blank pens are. I'll have to go look at those. I've just been using these G2s forever. They seem like they have a lot of ink. They last a long, long time. The only problem is, depending on the type of paper, those gel pens, the ink takes a little while to dry, and I've smeared what I've written a couple times, but you get used to it. I'm left-handed too, so depending on how you write, you kind of write over the top. Yeah, no, this election stuff is a joke. I'm hoping this whole thing gets overturned, but it sure seems like everything is dragging its feet. So we're becoming. They always say it's darkest just before the dawn. So we'll see if that's the case or not. It's embarrassing. I got a friend that says we should be calling our representatives multi times during the week and harassing them about this embarrassment. But it's like, good grief, who's got time for all this? Mont Blanc. I'll have to look up like what a Mont Blanc pen is. I might know what it is if I see it. Mont Blanc pens. Okay, so these are the kind that you like twist them and they go in and out. I probably have a couple of those. I used to have some of these and I'd have to put heat shrink tubing on them because they're too slippery for me. I didn't like it. So if you look at these G2s, they actually have a rubber on the bottom. There we go. See that? It's not focusing very well. Yeah, that rubber, this makes it very comfortable for writing, and it's not slippery at all, where a lot of those metal pens, I've had in the past, they don't work very well. I was trying to see if I had any in here. I was wondering if I brought any home. So like I would get these, this is like a cross pen, and I used to take, actually I take this back. This is kind of cool. You see this? I don't know if you can make this out. This is made, I got this at a gun show. This is a 30-06, and I forget what this one is up here, but the guy made it out of 2 shells. That's a unique thing. I actually carried that for a long time. It was a guy who used to make those. I don't see it in here. Yeah, the voting stuff's embarrassing. I don't know what to do about that. Actually, Mr. Action, I'm going to start putting the link to the members videos because I've been doing a members video once a week. And a lot of people are complaining they're not getting the notification, even though I will put a notification out on it. So I'll put a link in the description of even this one for the members videos so you can click on it and get to them. But right now, there really hasn't been anything going on as far as the metal prices. I'm just about ready to rebalance everything. And so there's going to be quite a bit of members videos that go through the rebalancing because we reset right at the beginning of the year. We reset the, let's say we started the year at 30,000. If we're at 40,000 now, I reset the portfolios to 40,000. So then they go, we get to see year-to-date performance. And then what I do is I will take from some of the winners and I will potentially add some new positions. And I may remove some positions. So it depends on some of the research that I do, what we're going to do. So Doug, the divorce is moving along, and I can't really talk about anything until that is complete. And then I've got a lot of information that's going to be coming out, and then we'll be able to talk at length. Perhaps I got to see what the attorneys say about what you can say and what you can't say. I mean, it's not like I'm going to poo-poo anyone, but it's I can talk about where I'm at and where I'm going, that type of thing. So things are moving along rapidly, but I don't know what that means, if we're going to be done in a month, 2 months, 6 months, that kind of thing. So that it's kind of an interesting situation. There's been some really interesting developments, and I'll probably be able to talk about some of that at some point. So let me look at a couple of these things here. So Mr. Action, what level are you? I can't tell from this these things here. And Nico Rock, there's like 2 different colors here, so I can't tell if you're silver or platinum or what. Remember, the type of details I'm putting out there will be for platinum or gold members only. The silver members get certain. Oh yeah, so Mr. Action, a lot of those videos are only going to be for the platinum and gold members, where it has the more detailed stuff. Silver, every once in a while I'll post some things for the silver guys, but the silver guys, they just don't. You'll get some videos, maybe 6 or 8 hours ahead of other folks, but the silver doesn't get you much, except for you are contributing to me to be able to provide, even some of the free videos. And if you get into the gold and platinum ones, it's actually got I think they may actually be now where there's no advertising. So keep that in mind. If you're just at the silver level, if you go back and read what the silver is, there's really not there's not much benefits with the silver. Now I'm planning on getting back in the habit of once a month doing members only live stream, and I might even. I think that's the best way to do it. I got to figure out if we can do a Zoom. That would probably be even better if we can get a Zoom set up on a certain time. I got to learn some new tools, but you got to remember, I'm actually kind of tapped out on time. I got to kind of do everything myself at this point, which means I'm pretty limited. I'm still watching like a hawk because remember, I'm showing you what I'm doing. And remember, I'm not telling you to do any of this stuff, but I'm saying, here's what I'm doing, here's why I'm doing, and I'm showing you that it's actually working fabulously. So I watch my portfolio like a hawk, and if something changes, I'm out there quite often telling you that something's changed. I'm still thinking we've got a chance to maybe see another $100 rise this next week in gold. Hey, Michelle Simcoe. Yeah, Mitch McConnell is kind of interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but remember this whole stimulus package that they put together, that was primarily a kind of payoff. Remember, whenever they throw money over to these other countries, it's always sent back over to these elected officials, back channels and stuff. So it's not good. they got to get rid of this thing. I mean, Trump has talked about, wouldn't it be great if everybody gets 100% audited, and if they are caught, receiving money from these other countries and stuff, that they will be, prosecuted. Okay, Edgewater, this is a perfect time for you to start investing in miners. When I rebalance this portfolio, I go through and explain why I did what I did. And I explain the pyramid. In fact, you ought to look at whenever I put the pyramid up about on the thumbnail, you should watch that video because I explain the pyramid, because I invest conservatively, but because of the way I invest, I actually do very well. Yeah, silver is just extremely volatile, and I've been predicting that it looks like it's going into the 30s, as well as gold is going into 2000. But remember, it has this magical ceiling around $50 that silver collapses. So it's done that multiple times historically. So I would just be real careful. And when it collapses like instantaneously, and you're going to be left holding, $50. I mean, a lot of people, they get so greedy too. When it keeps going up, they keep buying instead of just riding it. And next, you're left holding $50 silver, and it's only worth, 25 or less. So silver can burn you really bad. But gold has a double peak. It'll go up, come down, come back up again. And when you see that second peak, you gotta, but it never comes all the way back down again. It kind of rides even. So gold is just a safer play. Silver, just a little dab will do you in silver, just like the miners. A little dab will do you in the miners as well. You don't need to get crazy. I always try to. I'll explain the pyramid. All right. So on the bottom of the pyramid, the way I built my portfolio is I have uh, fairly conservative, like, business. So you would have like maybe my rental real estate. And then I consider gold in that bottom part of the pyramid too, because they talk about, the type of tier asset is. Gold is a tier one asset. Um, so you put some gold in that bottom part. The next level up is where you have like your silver and your platinum. Because of the volatility of those things, they move up into the next part. But what you're doing is, as you're coming up, you're buying less. So the bottom part is the foundation, and that's when you want to have the most of everything in, and then you move up into, like the silver, platinum, and I would say royalty companies, royalty miners, and large gold companies. Then you move up to the next one, and that would be like your medium miners, and then you move up to the top, and that would be like your small and micro miners. So you have the very smallest amount of those things, and then you're good to go. Well, if you remember when the miners closed down, we didn't see any drops in those prices significantly. What we saw tax selling is what occurred on a lot of this stuff. So we'll see what happens. But right now, these miners, you're historically, when I go back to the last Great Depression in 1930s, the miners are where everybody made money while the precious metals were being recalled. So I think you're going to find history is a beautiful thing. If you follow your history, that's the way it goes. Yeah, don't do JNUG, because that's a leverage thing. You need to be doing the actual miners, buying either the ETFs where it's a basket of those stocks, or you need to buy the individual miners. I've moved to primarily just the miners themselves. I don't think I'm holding any ETFs. The improved portfolio, I've got ETFs in there to kind of stabilize it, but JNUG is a lot of those things broke, those leveraged things. You're not really holding any stocks in that. So I wouldn't touch those with a 10-foot pole. In fact, it went from 3 times leverage to 2 times after that because it broke. I don't know. I may end up buying one of those Ford Mach-E GTs. I still got a video coming. I put out on the community tab a video that talked about the batteries in these electric vehicles, and it told everything you needed to know. I spent quite a bit of time reviewing that, and everything I was saying in one of my live stream was very damn accurate. The biggest problem batteries always have is temperature. So if you've got some of these batteries, you're using them in like Tucson, Arizona, where it's extremely hot, and they don't have like internal cooling and everything, those batteries will not last nearly as long. But there's some really interesting things coming out with the electrical vehicles you're starting to get some good numbers on the actual, say, cost payback type thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Amazon, Roku, Netflix, everybody has done fantastic since this COVID came out. People are stuck at home. I just don't have time to watch TV. I have to admit, I'm going through some of the Longmire videos. It's been years since I watched that. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. It's a remake of Gunsmoke, but in modern times, and I love that series. I enjoy Amazon, and what I like about it is when you want to reorder something, it is sitting there that you can go pull up your past history and reorder it again if it's not some unusual thing. Sometimes the things go away and you got to go find another uh, company, but most of the time the stuff that I'm ordering is always there, so that makes it nice. I can just reorder it again. Like I've got these shrink bags for my chickens and rabbits and stuff, and so I can just go back and replace the order. Makes it handy. In fact, I just signed up for Kroger online. They have like digital coupons. I was in the store and they had salmon normally like $8 a pound, and they had it $2 off if you use their digital coupon. So I had to sign up for the thing, and it logs it into my little deal, and that's a big discount for a whole what do you call it, fillet of salmon. That was a big savings. $2 a pound. That was a big savings. And I remember we used to have an Albertsons, and I got salmon for like $3 a pound. That's how many years ago that was. Now I'm paying $6. There's inflation for you. In fact, most of the time it's more than that. It's more like $8. I remember going to Mexican restaurant every Wednesday. We had a bunch of people go to work, and it was like $5 for their special. It was, the Speedy Gonzales, where you get tacos and enchiladas and stuff, and the chips, and maybe throw in some iced tea for probably was only 50 cents for iced tea at that time. Now you're lucky you can get out a Mexican restaurant for $10, for everything per person. After you've been around, you start to see the effects of inflation. You've got to keep that money working for you. Don't let it sit and rot. Put it in undervalued stuff, and hopefully it'll do better and better and better. I need to go back and touch on some of my real estate videos, because I will tell you, everybody told me that I was going to get destroyed in my real estate, and I'm telling you that luckily I did not get into commercial real estate. I was in residential real estate, and I bought in the more rural suburb areas, and people have been getting out of the cities. A lot of my properties have gone up 3 times minimum, since I bought them, just starting in 2012. So I have done very well. My rents are doing excellent. And, occasionally some folks have troubles, but I've got quality tenants, and I just, give them some time to work through the issues, and they usually come through with me. So I've been pretty happy with the real estate angle. It was the investment of a lifetime. I think over time, this gold and silver may turn out to be my second investment of a lifetime, but it's not yet. But it's looking good. It's looking really good. So we'll see. I still have a dream of minimum of 20 acres with a house like in the middle of it. But I've now been introduced to some folks that are pretty well to do, and we may end up buying like 40 acres and split it like 3 ways and try to make a little bit of a commune type thing where we have some land with some orchard grass, that we could create our own feed, and somebody might have some cattle or goats or something, and I'll be maybe the chicken and rabbit guy, maybe some turkeys too. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about that and starting to see if I can create something on a bigger scale than what I'm doing right now, and even gardening. Right, I love doing the gardening too. Just don't know if we have time to do this still. I keep feeling like we're running out of time, folks. So, I mean, I've got a pretty nice setup, but it is not self-sufficient. I want to get to where I'm as self-sufficient as possible. So that's where I'm heading towards. So I may end up sitting down with like an architect or something and try to design something and see how it would work out, how much land you would actually need. We'll see. Oh, Nico Rock's got 40 acres, 40-acre lots, private wells. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, the problem is I'm going to be 61 this next year. And I think about how much energy I expended over the last 3.5, 4 years to do what I've done. And do I have that kind of energy to set up a duplicate thing? I don't know. I'm sitting on 2 acres, but mine is a lot of wooded areas, and so I'm sitting here trying to, make use of what I've got. It's kind of working. It's working really well. I've learned a heck of a lot. It would be nice to kind of keep this place and then start building another one. So, and maybe have like 3 places so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. That's something that I'm considering. Yeah, 66. So I feel you, man. I feel you. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm pretty healthy, but I'm telling you, you just don't have the same energy that you had years ago. And even my contractors, I'm telling them they're getting aging now too. So we just don't move as fast as we used to. Man, we're at 58 minutes. Can you believe we've been on here this long? 63. Yeah, man, we're kind of in the same boat. I haven't done any of my analytics on my channel in a while. I'll have to show you the age of the folks that watch this channel. I'm probably at the age where I just got to pay people to do more and more, which makes it really hard. Yeah, 5 acres is a good amount of property. You can do a lot in 5 acres, but I constantly think about if you're going to have a bunch of family. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if you go back to the Great Depression, we had a lot of people that lived on farms. And so the people in the cities that lost their jobs, they just moved back home and worked on the farms with the rest of the family. We really don't have that today. So some of us, and I've talked about being like Joseph, coat of many colors. Remember, he was sold to the Egyptians as a slave, and he ended up being as powerful as Pharaoh. I keep looking at some of us can be Joseph to protect your family, because their family would have starved without Joseph being in that position of power. So I want you guys to be able to be, I want you to think about being like Joseph and try to be the protector of the family. because a lot of folks, like my son, he's in the military, and Russia, when they collapsed, they couldn't pay their military. They fed them, that was it. But you think about the rest of the family, maybe had to go back and live with other family. Uh, don't know. And in the 70s, one of my subscribers talked about they were let out of the military early. They said, good luck. Even though he had extra time on his thing, they let him go early. So stuff like this can happen. And we already have seen so many businesses. Think about how many businesses closed and never going to open again. So many of these businesses are hanging on by a thread, and they don't think they're going to make it through this next year. So this is going to get worse, and you're going to see short sales, foreclosures, all this stuff all over again. So I'm hoping that maybe I can pick up some farmland or something else this next time around, if it's available. Yeah, it's I hear you. Quilter in the Wood 62. It's tough. There's so many things that I put off till the next day that I never used to do. I used to be so driven, and it's like, well, today the high was 30 maybe, and I know it's going to be 54 or something tomorrow, so I need to reload my wood racks on my porches. So I decided I'll wait till it's 50 something instead of 30 for the high. And I think that was a smart move, because I went out there and it's pretty dang cold. So I had enough to get me through today and tonight with wood, but I got a lot of trips. When you're running two wood stoves, you burn a lot. Well, we're at an hour. I normally only run these about an hour, sometimes half an hour. I really enjoyed the time. It went super fast. I hope you guys have had a great Christmas. I hope that it wasn't super commercial. I hope you were able to do some things that really touched some folks. I may next year. I've got this goal that I'm probably going to go back to where I'm actually going to make some gifts, make them very personal, spend some time and do some things, because I think we got to get back to and prepare for the fact that we may not have money to do a lot of this stuff. So let's see. All right. So I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.